All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome. My name is Tyler Ward, and with me today is Rob Schaefer. We work for the state of North Dakota. I am an information technology specialist, and Rob is a power school specialist, and both of us are with EduTech. Rob, do you want to take a second and introduce yourself to the folks and explain more on what you do?
Good morning, everybody. Work for Power School. This is year number 5. Supporting Tyler. So if you have questions today, just open up your little conversation bubble and put questions right in there, and we'll throw them at Tyler as he's instructing. And mute your mics while he's talking. But welcome to the group today.
Thank you, Rob. As I mentioned before, we both work for EduTech. EduTech is the Educational Services Division within North Dakota Information Technology. NDIT is doing whatever possible to ensure that the entities we support are available to function in a wide variety of situations. For K-12 schools, we know our North Dakota administrators and educational personnel are carefully navigating how to proceed with classes, communication, and collaboration while addressing concerns around COVID-19. EduTech's mission remains to provide technology services and leadership to improve teaching and learning in North Dakota PK through 12. We are continuing that mission today by providing this webinar series and are here to support our North Dakota K-12 community with any support, training, and resources. This webinar is available for EduTech hours that can be turned in for graduate credit. Once you have accumulated 15 EduTech hours, you can turn that into 1 graduate credit with our NDSU partnership. We want to make sure that these hours are available to as many people as possible, so we ask that you please use the link on your screen to fill out a short Microsoft form. We will use this to gather participant information today. If you do not have a K-12 account, you can enter your name and email address into the chat, and Rob and I will double check that information to make sure as many folks as possible are included. There will be a time limit on this form, and note that this link will be expired if you're watching this recording at a later time. Before we continue with today's presentation, please know we are sharing information with you to help care for yourself during this time. We are not medical professionals, and all of today's content comes from vetted resources. Let's take a brief moment to talk about the coronavirus. This virus can infect the sinuses and upper throat. This type of illness is referred to as a respiratory tract infection. It can spread like the common cold, and you may catch one during your lifetime and not even know it. The COVID-19 virus, however, does share these same symptoms as the cold and influenza, and could also present itself as a lower respiratory infection such as pneumonia or bronchitis. Symptoms may appear between 2 to 14 days after being exposed. And right now, the only way to know if you have the coronavirus is to be tested, and test results can take anywhere from 24 to 48 hours to be returned to you. With all the various news outlets reporting today, it is especially important that you are informed from accurate sources. Be sure to tell your students the facts and are confident it is the same information they would hear from their parents, siblings, grandparents, or friends. When talking to your students about the coronavirus, keep your responses age appropriate and accurate. Acknowledge their feelings and concerns as they are looking to you for guidance and information. Be sure to watch for any cues of misbehavior, as this may be their way of showing their feelings. This time can also bring up feelings of disappointment, especially in teens. Explain to them we cannot control or change those forces outside of ourselves. If teens use humor to cope, it is recommended that this type of behavior be discouraged, as there are better ways to talk about the situation. We should try to visit with our students about the ways we can learn from this experience and to move forward and persevere. Acknowledging your students' feelings and questions is important. When doing so, you want to remain calm and informed when visiting with them. Be sure to reference any shared information from valid sources and reassure them that the top medical professionals, first responders, and the world are in this together. We are all working to help prevent the spread of the virus and stay healthy. Another way you can help your students during this time is to keep a routine. This structure helps them feel in control of their day and they are able to anticipate changes that they can plan for. Do your best to plan for breaks in their day to have them get up and move and distract them. You can give them simple tasks such as unloading the dishwasher or maybe picking up their room. Now that North Dakota has transitioned to online learning, establishing norms is important with your students, and it is also a great way to keep them informed. Try sending a morning or weekly announcement of when you plan to meet and any assignments that are due. When having a class discussion, ask your students to use their microphone and camera from their device. That way, everyone can see and hear them. If they do not have those capabilities, they can also submit their thoughts into a chat message or discussion board. Also, be sure to stay in regular contact with your students. Offer as much support as you can to your parents as you are finding new and creative ways for your lessons, especially as we are all learning from home. Do your best to take care of yourself and be healthy. Get a full night's rest, exercise regularly, and maintain a healthy diet. Be sure to recognize your own feelings such as anxiety, fear, or depression, and also take a moment to listen to your body as it may be telling you something. With the practice of social distancing, it can also seem hard to connect with others. You can try visiting with a spouse, a family member, trusted friend, or even a therapist. Your human resource representative is also a great person to help connect you with a professional. Again, with social distancing, it can be hard to connect with friends and family. There have been a couple ideas shared out there over the last couple weeks. The two that stood out to me the most are the hashtag World of Hearts, which is a movement of sharing love by cutting out and hanging hearts in your window. The second one is the Great Teddy Bear Scavenger Hunt. Those who wish to take part can leave a teddy bear in their window. When you are out in the neighborhood, you can do your best to see if you can find one or maybe more. These are wonderful ways to get out and moving in your neighborhood while practicing social distancing. If you feel the need to stay close to home, you can also use technology to connect. Try making a phone call to a loved one, or even take adventure into a video platform such as FaceTime, Zoom, or Skype. There are other ways to stay busy, especially from home these days. This could be a great time for you to pursue some of your hobbies. Or you can try some activities such as reading a book, spending time with your family by putting together a puzzle or playing a board game, maybe trying some new recipes, or maybe just building something fun, such as a pillow fort, or maybe something out of Legos. Also, you can practice with your students the sharing of gratitude. By practicing how to show gratitude, students will learn how to feel better from within themselves. When showing gratitude, our brains release the feel-good chemicals known as dopamine and serotonin, and this helps us feel happy during our day. One activity you could try with your students is to have them write thank you notes to others on how they may have helped them solve a problem or just for simply being themselves. Staying physically fit is just as important as your mental health. There are many ways to stay active from home. Some ideas you can try are cleaning up your yard, maybe cleaning the house, taking a bike ride, washing your vehicle, creating an obstacle course, turning on some music just to dance, or maybe joining an online workout session. These are all great ways to be active as it offers a distraction and gives you a chance to interact with others. Flattening the curve is a big venture we are all taking part in today. It is important that you practice washing your hands for 20 to 30 seconds with hot and soapy water. Refrain from touching your nose, eyes, or face if you've been out in public. Always be sure to sanitize regularly touched surfaces around your home, and stay home if you're feeling sick. If you must venture out into public, please practice social distancing by staying 6 feet away from others, covering your cough or sneeze, and if possible, use hand sanitizer. And it is recommended that as soon as you return home to immediately wash your hands with hot soapy water. At this time, Rob and I encourage you to unmute your microphone and share with us what it is that you've been doing to care for yourself during this time. We ask that you please unmute your microphone one at a time to help prevent any feedback. And if you do not have that capability, please use the chat window that is located on the bottom of your screen.
And I'll just jump in here now just to kind of begin the conversation a little bit. I have an 8th grader at home, plus a graduate from college who's working for the college from home. And I have a 20-year-old who is in college also at home. So we've got a busy house. Life's been quite a bit different from what it was before, but yet kind of the same old, same old. We kind of were always home type people. For my 8th grader, starting the middle of last week, Bismarck Public started posting assignments. So we had kind of already started a schedule for him. We kind of get him up at that 7:45 time. He gets his shower, gets his breakfast, and he's at the table working. His workspace is upstairs in the dining room area with his computer that he does his work on. And by 8:30, he's beginning his schoolwork. This week, teachers post their assignments for the week. He has A and B days, so Monday, Wednesday, Friday are his A days. Tuesday, Thursday are his B days. On Monday, Wednesday, Friday, he does his A work. Tuesday, Thursday, he does his B work. And he knows for the week, this is what I'm doing each day. So he's kind of set that schedule a little bit for that. Works till about 10:30. Then at 10:30, he sits down and does his 30 minutes of reading, which he doesn't love to do. It's not his favorite thing to do, but he does it every day. And then after that time, he has a little bit over lunch break. And then by 12:30, he's beginning his basketball's his thing, fitness is his thing. So we have about 2 hours of that scheduled for him from about 12:30 till about 2:30. And so he has a pretty full day, from 8:30 till about 2:30. He's scheduled, he's busy. He's doing the stuff that's on his schedule for the day. And the college kid's doing his work till about 3 in his room at his desk. Both of them have a desk in their room, and we really don't see them till about 3:30 because they're doing their work in their rooms at that time. And then the other thing we always try to do, which we always have before, but now we're certainly more focused on, is we're having supper together around that 5:30 time. And supper scheduled, this is what we're having each day. We're also trying to order some food in. So we're doing some supporting of the community a little bit financially as well. So those are some of the things we've done. And as far as Tyler talking about communicating online, Kelly and Jason are in the meeting as well. I've talked to Kelly, Jason, and Tyler more since COVID-19 has happened than I ever did before. So that's been a real benefit as we're communicating, we're chatting, we're talking with each other via Teams, having a little more conversation than we ever did before because we have time to do that. And we kind of made sure that's an important thing that we do. So those are my things to share. Certainly we want to hear what the rest of you have been trying to do as well.
Yeah, this is Lee at CREA. Say this is, one of the things I've been trying to do is just unplug at a certain time during the day, usually about 4 or 5 o'clock, just to get away from the computer simply because it seems like right now with assisting schools and having some issues with technology that we get a lot of questions and we're constantly in contact with people throughout the day. So just a matter of unplugging and trying to get outside, at least before the weather got kind of nasty on us again, trying to get outside and do some walking, get a little exercise before coming back in for the evening, and then having supper together. Now with my wife and I both working from home, we have more of an opportunity to sit down and eat together and spend a little bit more time together in the evenings. So that's kind of what I've been doing.
That sounds wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing. I'll take a moment here and share with you what my wife and I have been doing as well. We're building a new house, and every evening we do our best to get out there and do some painting. We have a 5-month-old son, and he's just a great bundle of joy. We loved having him. Every now and then he'll work with me or he'll work with my wife. from home, depending on the day. We do our best, kind of like Rob said, to have a schedule line out during the day. We have meals planned. We always do our best to support our community by ordering some takeout, which is always a great thing, especially during the busy time being online. And like Lee said too, with my role and my wife's, we both do our best to kind of put our phones away and our computers away come that 5 o'clock hour as well, and do our best to be a family from 5 o'clock till the end of the night.
I jumped into the meeting late, but I was going to tell you what I've been doing with my students as activities in order to have them help with anxiety. And maybe I jumped in on the question wrong, but a lot of the activities we've been doing has been centered around other people. So like, for example, the heart activity, when they cut out hearts in order to put them on their windows, they had to say something they loved about themselves and then do another one for a family member, and then either send that through mail or get that to them somehow. The other thing is for communication skills and story writing. Instead of that, we've had them call a person on the phone and read them the story they created, so they get some social contact throughout the day.
That sounds wonderful, Amy. Thank you so much for sharing that. Are there anyone else out there that would like to share what they've been up to?
I guess I can share, but I'm not sure that I'm a good example of somebody who's done well. Probably spending too much time trying to figure out what normal is and get organized, and then going into the evenings and weekends when I shouldn't be. But one thing that our family has done is I have adult daughters and grandkids, and about once a week we'll get together through Skype, and their mothers are just aghast at how the kids are like giggling and jumping around, and I'm like, oh, do it more. It's kind of nice to see them bouncing around and being normal kids, and especially when you don't get to see, I can't have them jumping on me because can't be there, but you know, you kind of miss that rambunctiousness, and like I said, their mothers are just like, oh my gosh, kids, can't you just sit down and talk? And like, why? They don't normally sit down and talk. But just trying to keep in touch with everybody, and also trying to keep, like Amy said, trying to encourage students too to get that exercise. And I know I've been trying to do exercise and trying to eat as well as I can. And then finding takeouts that I know I was trying to think of what takeout can I order that would help somebody else out, but still work for me, because I'm a single person, so I'm not feeding a family of 6 or anything. So, but we just keep trying.
Thank you, Jean, for sharing that. That was very insightful. Is there anybody else that would like to take a moment as well, share anything that they would like to mention to today's crowd? Okay, hearing none, then I'm going to switch my screen here. Bye, Rob. Get rid of you. I'm going to share with you now the resources that we have gathered that was built for today's presentation. So the first one comes from the CDC. This is the Guidance for Schools and Child Programs. So these are ways that your schools and communities have been doing their best to care for your students during this time. Some of the ideas here you can even do at home, such as staying home when you're sick, keeping an eye on your symptoms, cleaning surfaces, and if you do have to be out in public or visit with somebody, do your best to limit that time and do your best to also practice social distancing as well. Another one that is great is Common Sense Media. This is a resource that has some information about coronavirus, but is also a great platform to screen books, videos, TV shows, stuff like that nature, websites for students as well. But specifically for the coronavirus, they have some information here. A great one that I spent some time reading was ways to help de-stress your family during the coronavirus. So some things you can try at home as maybe going for a walk, taking some deep breaths. If you are into mindfulness and like using meditation apps such as Calm or Headspace, you can do those. Maybe trying some yoga as well. And there's also mental health apps up there that can help you if you are needing to connect with someone on a professional level. And again, some really fun things you can try around the house, dancing, moving around as well is always great. When your body moves, your brain does release some endorphins, such as dopamine or serotonin, that make you feel good and like you've accomplished something. Over the last couple of days of being cooped up from home, I actually went out for a jog this morning, and by the time I got home, I felt great. It was kind of great just to get out there and burn off some energy. So yeah, that's just, again, one of the many resources here. The next one here, it comes from Kids Health. This resource is referenced back to the CDC, and they give you some suggestions again of how to talk to your students or your children about the coronavirus. Again, they recommend that you stay calm and speak reassuringly. Also giving the kids space to explain how they are feeling as well. Again, putting your trust into valid media sources. So when you're visiting with your students about what's going on, again, make sure that you're kind of helping screen that information. And you can also do your best to limit or shield them from any sort of media coverage as well, if you wish. The next 4 come from the North Dakota Behavioral Health Services. The first one is just simply COVID-19 resources. They have a wonderful selection here of topics you can pick from. These 3 here that are new were just added late afternoon yesterday, so they are adding more things as time goes on. You can take a click on these, and you can see here it's telling you it's going to go take you to a different resource that they have vetted, or it may take you to a PDF as well. This is actually where I found the section when I mentioned gratitude earlier this morning. So this is a great handout that you can share with your families and students about sharing gratitude and its benefits for their mental health. Next here is, actually that's that gratitude resource I just showed you. The next one here comes from the North Dakota Department of Public Instruction. This is their resources that they have gathered to show you what COVID-19 how it's been impacting across the state, but some information of how you can visit with your students about what's going on in the world. So again, staying calm, making yourself available to listen for them, paying attention to them and what they see in the media, maybe using a different language that is related to them that helps eliminate any stigmas, and always finding honest and accurate information to share with them as well. And then the importance of the importance of reducing their chance of spreading germs by washing their hands for at least 20 seconds and so forth. As we get towards the bottom here, North Dakota Response is this next resource. They are offering lots of resources here that'll take you back to other places, such as the governor's press recordings, the executive orders he's offered, any government services that you need or that are available online, and any frequently asked questions that have been coming up across the state. But they will also connect you to other resources, such as what businesses and employers can do for their communities, the healthcare workers, taxing, and so forth. This next one here is one of my favorites. It's called Parents Lead. They do a great job of offering topics to talk with your students about many situations, whether it's behavioral health, drug addiction, so forth. But with the recent outbreak of COVID-19, they have gathered lots of resources here, and they have compiled them based on age level of how you can talk with them about this conversation. These 3 resources actually are brand new and popped up overnight. I did not see them until just now. So let's say you're visiting with an elementary age student, you can click on that link, and then you get a nice handout of some tips of what you can try with your student as you talk about the coronavirus at this time. And then lastly here is Recovery Reinvented. This resource comes from the First Lady, Catherine Helga Burgum, and her Office of Recovery and Reinvented. They have done a great job of guiding us to the North Dakota Behavioral Health Division, Parents Lead, and the North Dakota Response. Again, these are all resources I've showed you, but they are, again, one more spot to come and find resources to visit with your students about. Is there any questions on anything that we've shown you here in the last couple minutes?
None in the chat, Tyler.
Okay. With that being said, then I will wrap up today's presentation. I'm just going to switch back here to my other screen. All right, as we end today's webinar, again, Rob and I like to thank you for your time for stopping in and visiting with us. Again, if you missed the link at the beginning of the presentation, please take a second to fill out this Microsoft form. This is how we are gathering today's participant information to help get you eligible for EduTech hours that again can be turned into graduate credit with our partnership at NDSU. Again, if you don't have a K-12 account, please enter in your name and email address and the school you're with into the chat window, and Rob and I will double check everything by the end of the day. I'd like to thank you for attending today's webinar. As always, we are here to assist you in being successful. Please do not hesitate to contact our help desk. Their email address is help@k12.nd.us. And you can also visit with any of EduTech trainers as well for any support and virtual training inquiries.